team leaders were here in Holyoke earlier this week to brief the mayor, Kathy, and Jim Lavelle, and so we updated them on a set of activities that we've been working on. One of the most immediate things is that we're in the final stages right now of pulling together our formal proposal that's going to be submitted to the Massachusetts Technology Collaborative. We've been working very closely with them over a long period of time, and we're at the stage now where they have asked us to kind of codify all of the discussions around the GHPCC project, and that proposal is going to be submitted to them late next week. And Bill, it'll be up to Bob, it'll be up to Pat, but my expectation is that the board will be able to consider it at its June meeting. But they'll determine what the correct timeline is for that. We are also in the process of finalizing the paperwork to formally establish the legal entity for the GHPCC consortium, and that will be the legal entity that will manage the facility itself. As we've continued in dialogue with MTC and with other partners and stakeholders, one of the things that Rick alluded to, which we think is important, is for us to come up with a model that makes sense. We're going to be operating a specific facility, a building that's going to be providing research computing capabilities to the campuses, but there's also a set of activities that extend beyond that. So the legal entity that's being created will run the facility, but it will be part of a larger consortium operation, which will include activities like the collaborative research program, the education and outreach program, and our other kinds of engagement. So the paperwork that we're putting in with the state to create the legal entity is a necessary activity to prepare us to run the facility, but it's not necessarily directly related to the set of programming activity and the discussions that we're having around education, outreach, research collaborations, and the like. We are also in the process of hiring a search firm that will assist us in recruiting an executive director for the facility, and that's going to be the person that's actually going to run the facility on a daily basis. And again, that is not necessarily directly connected with our broader interests and aims. That's going to be a person who has a great deal of expertise running data centers and at that interface of delivering computing services. So we'll probably, in the end, we will probably have some other activities that are not directly computing related as part of the facility itself, but a lot of it will also exist outside the facility. We are in the process of, or we're just about to begin negotiations with the contractor to provide design and engineering services. The universities have a consensus on a vendor, and we're doing our final sets of checkoffs, and then we're going to begin negotiations with that company, and then hopefully sign a contract with them in the coming weeks. We have sent out a request for qualifications for construction management. There's a set of companies that have been contacted by the group based on all of our previous experience with construction management in data centers and other facilities. And I don't specifically know the timeline on that decision, but once we have the design and engineering firm in place, we're going to move forward with the construction management, and then all of these things are lined up to be able to, as I said, focus on an event this fall that will be sort of our groundbreaking, that will move us from the phase of discussion, decision making, to the point at which we're actually in the process of building the facility. So that's where we are now. Jim, Rick, Chris, did I miss anything important in that timeline? Although I correct you go.
Who holds the options on the property now?
Let's see. I believe HG&E currently holds the options on the master site. Is that correct, Jim?
In progress.
In progress. And then for Open Square, we have I believe we have a proposal in hand from Open Square for, rates, space, services, all of that kind of stuff.
You don't have an option on the property,
For
a legal option,
Mastec or Open Square?
Open Square?
I don't believe it's our intent to purchase. We're in negotiation with the developer to lease space there. And I don't know if there have been discussions about purchasing
Lease the
land, or lease space in the facility, I know, is what we're specifically talking about. I know there have been some discussions about possibly, would we build on some of the empty space there? But I think the focus right now is on leasing space in the existing building that's up and running.
On Jeff's note, just in terms of the event in the fall, doing work on branding, I'm just thinking you're going to have, these are limited opportunities, to get the name out there and get it out there right. Is there a way to say, okay, this is going to be called the Holyoke Center going forward? Because we're throwing around a lot of letters now, and I think, to have that not only online presence, but certainly from a professional standpoint, talking about what Tim was talking about in terms of emulating the best and the brightest, seeing what other people do, but what are we going to be known for, in terms of top of mind, and does it make sense to put some of those things together during the quiet times of the summer, working on that, and then secondly, in terms of a futurist forum, if you will, where we bring a group together and brainstorm, because one of the things, and you guys in computing know this better than I do, but in terms of Moore's Law and moving forward, by the time something gets built, it becomes obsolete. Are there a couple things that we can do to distinguish ourselves that gives us that added value or that advantage in the marketplace?